The cardboard sign reads, "Anything helps." Maria's grocery bag slips from her trembling fingers. Oranges roll across the wet pavement like scattered prayers. The homeless man on the bench lifts his head, and she sees the face that haunted 20 years of sleepless nights. Jack Morrison, her ex-husband, the man who stole her savings and left her with nothing but divorce papers. Now, he shivers in a torn Armani suit, begging for coins. Maria's hand finds the pepper spray in her purse. Before we begin, tell me, where are you listening from right now? And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a story. Jack? He looks up with hollow eyes. Stubble covers his once perfect jaw. His expensive suit hangs like fabric on a scarecrow. The gold wedding ring he never returned glints on his dirty finger. Maria? Maria Santos? It's Maria Fletcher now. Changed it back. Jack tries to stand, but stumbles. His breath smells like cheap wine and defeat. The cardboard sign falls into a puddle, dissolving into gray mush. People walk past without looking, their heels clicking against wet concrete. "You look good," he whispers. "You look terrible." Maria picks up her scattered oranges, buying time to think. Jack Morrison, the man who promised her the world, then sold it out from under her feet. 20 years ago, he was untouchable. Designer suits, expensive watches, a penthouse overlooking the harbor. "How long have you been out here?" she asks. 3 months, maybe 4. "What happened?" Jack laughs, but it sounds like breaking glass. "Everything." "I heard you made millions," Maria says, stuffing oranges into her bag. "I did. Then I lost billions." 20 years ago, Jack had been a nobody. A construction worker with big dreams and bigger debts. Maria waited tables at Murphy's Diner, saving every tip for their wedding. They lived in a studio apartment above the Chinese restaurant, sharing canned soup and stolen kisses. Then Jack discovered day trading. Started with $100 and her grandmother's ring as collateral. Within 6 months, he was making more money than Maria earned in a year. Within 2 years, he was rich enough to forget where he came from. "You left me for Victoria Whitman," Maria says. "I left you for money. Victoria was just the bonus." The honesty cuts deeper than any lie. Maria remembers coming home to empty drawers and a note on the kitchen table. Jack had cleaned out their joint account, took the car, left her with rent she couldn't afford and dreams she couldn't repair. "You bankrupted me." "I know." Jack's admission hangs in the cold air like visible breath. "Why should I care what happens to you?" Maria asks. "You shouldn't." "You're right. I shouldn't." But Maria can't walk away. Not yet. She studies Jack's face, looking for traces of the man she once loved. His green eyes are the same, though dulled by shame and exhaustion. His hands shake from cold or withdrawal. Hard to tell which. "Where do you sleep?" "Wherever they don't kick me out." A police car cruises past, slowing to study them. The officer behind the wheel shakes his head and drives on. Just another homeless man and another good Samaritan having a conversation that won't change anything. "Have you eaten today?" "Yesterday, I think." Maria opens her purse and pulls out a $20 bill. Jack's eyes focus on the money like a drowning man spotting shore. She holds it between them, close enough to touch, but not quite close enough to take. "What would you do with this?" she asks. "Buy food." "Not booze?" "Food first. Always food first." Maria hands him the 20, watching his fingers close around the crumpled bill. "Thank you," Jack whispers. "Don't thank me yet." Maria looks at the man who destroyed her life. The man who taught her that love was just another commodity to be bought and sold. The man who left her crying in an empty apartment while he moved into a mansion with another woman.
"I have a spare room," she says. "What?" "At my house. It's not much, but it's warm and dry." "Why would you offer me that?" Maria doesn't have a good answer. Christian charity? Morbid curiosity? Or maybe she wants him to see what she built from the ashes of their marriage. The small but tidy house, the garden she tends herself, the life she created without his money or his name. "Because I'm not you," she says finally. Jack tries to stand again, steadier this time. His shoes have holes that let in water and cold. His socks are gray with dirt and wear. Everything about him screams failure and desperation. "I can't pay rent." "I'm not asking for rent." "Then what are you asking for?" Maria picks up her grocery bag and turns toward the bus stop. Jack follows like a lost dog, keeping distance but not willing to let her disappear. "I'm asking you to remember what it feels like to be human."
Maria's house sits at the end of Maple Street, like a period at the end of a sentence. Small but neat, with yellow shutters and a front porch swing. Jack stops at the gate, staring at the mailbox that reads M. Fletcher in careful script. A wind chime hangs from the eaves, playing soft music in the evening breeze. "This is yours?" "Bought and paid for. No mortgage." "How?" 40 years of waiting tables, 30 years of night school, 20 years of remembering what you taught me about money. Jack follows her up the brick walkway. Maria's key turns in the lock with a solid click. The front door opens onto a living room filled with second-hand furniture and homemade quilts. Everything clean and comfortable and earned. "The spare room is upstairs," Maria says. "Maria, I can't." "Yes, you can, because you don't have a choice." She hangs her coat on a hook by the door and carries her groceries to the kitchen. Jack stands in her doorway like a vampire waiting for permission to enter. "Are you coming in or not?" Jack steps inside and closes the door. The house smells like cinnamon and coffee and safety. "When did you buy this place?" he asks. 15 years ago, right after I got my business degree." "Business degree?" "Accounting. Turns out I'm good with numbers when nobody's stealing them." Maria unpacks groceries in her small kitchen. Fresh vegetables, whole grain bread, yogurt, the oranges that started this strange reunion. Jack watches her move with efficient grace, every motion purposeful and calm. "You could have had all this sooner," he says. "With stolen money? No thanks." "It wasn't stealing. It was investing. It was gambling with money that didn't belong to you." Jack touches the kitchen counter, running his finger along the granite surface. Not expensive granite, but real stone nonetheless. Earned stone. Honest stone. "I lost it all, Maria. Every penny." "Good." The word hits him like a slap. Maria continues unpacking groceries as if she hasn't just wished financial ruin on her ex-husband. "You're glad I lost everything? I'm glad justice exists." "Victoria left me when the money disappeared," Jack says. Shocking. Maria fills a glass with water and hands it to him. Jack drinks like he's been wandering in a desert. Water runs down his chin, soaking the collar of his ruined shirt. "She took half of what was left in the divorce." Also shocking. "The government took the other half. Back taxes. Let me guess, you forgot to pay those while you were busy being rich?" Jack sets down the empty glass. His hands shake worse now. Withdrawal symptoms or just exhaustion? Maria can't tell the difference anymore. "I had a heart attack last month," he admits. "Are you okay?" Define okay. Alive? Functional? Not dying on my kitchen floor? Then yes, I'm okay. Maria studies his face, looking for lies or manipulation. She finds only exhaustion, and something that might be honest. Jack never used to be honest. Honesty was for poor people who couldn't afford better options. "Show me," she says. Jack unbuttons his shirt, revealing a surgical scar down the center of his chest. The skin looks angry and raw, still healing from whatever procedure saved his life. "Who paid for the surgery?" Maria asks. "County hospital. Charity case." Ironic. "Yeah, I thought so too." Maria touches the scar before she can stop herself. Jack's skin feels cold and papery, like old parchment. He doesn't pull away from her touch, doesn't assume it means forgiveness or second chances. Does it hurt? Everything hurts. "I meant the scar. So did I." Maria pulls her hand back, suddenly aware of what she's doing, touching the man who destroyed her life, feeling sympathy for the monster who left her crying in an empty apartment. She wipes her fingers on her apron, as if his pain might be contagious. "The room upstairs has clean sheets," she says. "Maria, and there's a shower, hot water, soap that doesn't come from a gas station bathroom." Jack buttons his shirt with shaking fingers. The fabric is expensive, but filthy. A costume from a life he no longer owns. "Why are you doing this?" "Because someone needs to." "But why you?" Maria walks to the bottom of the staircase and flips on the upstairs light. Warm yellow illumination floods the second floor, revealing a narrow hallway and 3 closed doors. The spare room contains a single bed, a wooden dresser, and a window overlooking Maria's garden. Jack stands in the doorway, afraid to cross the threshold. Clean white sheets look like luxury after months of park benches and cardboard. A quilt his grandmother made covers the foot of the bed, hand-stitched in blue and white. "The bathroom is across the hall," Maria says. "This is too much. It's a room with a bed. Don't make it more than it is." Jack sets his cardboard sign on the dresser. The wet ink has smeared, making the words barely readable. "Anything helps" looks like a child's finger painting now. "I'll find somewhere else tomorrow," he says. "No, you won't." "Maria, you'll stay here until you figure out what comes next." "What if what comes next is nothing?" Maria straightens the already perfect quilt, avoiding his eyes. "Then at least you'll die warm and clean." The honesty surprises them both. Jack sits heavily on the bed, testing the mattress. It holds his weight without complaint. Real springs, not the foam padding of a shelter cot. "I'm sorry," he whispers. "For which part?" "All of it. Everything I took from you." Maria turns to face him, arms crossed over her chest. "Sorry doesn't pay back $50,000. I know. Sorry doesn't undo 20 years of struggling alone. I know. Sorry doesn't explain why you never called, never wrote, never even sent a Christmas card." Jack stares at his hands, unable to meet her eyes. The wedding ring catches light from the bedside lamp. Maria notices it for the first time since the park bench. "You still wear that," she says. "Never took it off. Why not?" "Reminder, I guess." "Of what?" "Of who I used to be before I became a monster." Maria laughs, but there's no humor in the sound. "You were never a monster, Jack. Monsters are born that way. You chose to become something else." "What did I choose to become?" "A coward who traded love for money and thought it was smart business." Jack pulls off the wedding ring and holds it out to her. "This belongs to you." Maria stares at the gold band. 22 years ago, she'd saved for 8 months to buy that ring. Worked double shifts at the diner, skipped meals, walked to work instead of taking the bus. All for a $40 ring that represented everything she believed about love and commitment. "Keep it," she says. "I don't deserve to wear it. You never deserved to wear it. That's not the point." Jack slips the ring back onto his finger. It still fits perfectly, though his hands have grown thin and pale. Everything about him looks diminished now, smaller, human-sized instead of larger than life. "What is the point?" he asks. "The point is remembering that some mistakes can't be fixed." "Then why are you helping me?" Maria walks to the window and looks out at her garden. Tomatoes grow in neat rows. Peppers and herbs border the fence. Everything planned and tended and earned through honest work. Because helping you isn't about you. What's it about? It's about who I choose to be when nobody's watching. The phone downstairs rings once, then stops. "I'll let you get settled," Maria says. "Maria, wait." She pauses at the bedroom door, hand on the frame. Jack looks small and lost in her spare room, like a child who's wandered into the wrong house. "What happened to your dreams?" he asks. "Which dreams?" "The restaurant. You always wanted to own a restaurant." Maria's hand tightens on the doorframe. She did want a restaurant once. Had business plans and menu ideas and a name picked out. Santos Family Kitchen. Before Jack stole her savings and left her with nothing but debt and broken promises. "Some dreams don't survive reality," she says. "I could help you start over." "With what? You're homeless." "I still have connections. People who owe me favors." "People don't owe favors to failures, Jack." "Then I'll find another way." Maria turns to face him fully. There is no other way. There is no redemption arc. There is no happy ending where we become friends and you somehow make up for 20 years of damage. Then what is this? This is me being kind to a broken man, because that's who I am. Jack nods slowly, accepting the boundaries she's drawn. Maria closes the bedroom door and walks downstairs to make herself dinner for one. 3 days later, Maria finds Jack scrubbing her kitchen floor at 5 in the morning. He's borrowed clothes from the donation box she keeps in the basement, jeans that are too big and a flannel shirt that's seen better decades. His hair is clean for the first time since she found him, revealing gray temples and a receding hairline. "You don't have to do that," Maria says. "I need to do something." The floor gleams under his careful attention. Jack moves the mop in precise patterns, covering every inch twice. His technique suggests experience with manual labor, muscle memory from the construction worker he used to be. "When's the last time you cleaned a floor?" Maria asks. "Before I got rich. Before I forgot how." "You didn't forget. You chose to stop." Jack wrings out the mop and starts on the dining room. Each stroke deliberate and thorough. The kind of work that can't be rushed or faked. "Victoria never cleaned anything," he says. "Why would she? You had money to pay other people." Even before the money, she said cleaning was beneath her. Maria makes coffee, watching Jack work. "And you thought that made her better than me?" Jack stops mopping and looks at her directly. "I thought money made me better than you." The admission hangs between them like smoke. Maria pours 2 cups of coffee, adding sugar to both. Jack's hands are still shaky, but steadier than they were 3 days ago. "When did you figure out you were wrong?" she asks. "When I lost it all and realized I had nobody to call." "You could have called me." "And said what? Sorry I destroyed your life, but I'm having a bad day?" "You could have started with that." Jack accepts the coffee cup gratefully. Steam rises from the dark liquid, warming his face. He's gained weight since staying with Maria. Not much, but enough to fill out his borrowed clothes. "I saw you once," he says. "When?" "About 10 years ago, downtown. You were coming out of the community college." Maria remembers those days, night classes after 12-hour shifts, studying accounting principles while her feet ached from standing all day, building a future 1 credit hour at a time. "You saw me and didn't say anything?" "You looked happy. I didn't want to ruin that." "How do you know I was happy?" Maria asks. "You were smiling, reading something on your phone, laughing."
Maria sits across from him at her small kitchen table. The morning light makes everything look softer, more forgiving. Jack's face shows signs of healing. The hollow cheeks are filling out. The desperate look in his eyes has faded. "I was reading a text from my study group," she says. "About what?" "We'd all passed our midterms. First time in my life I got straight A's." Jack nods as if this confirms something he already knew. "You were always smarter than me. Smart enough not to gamble with money I didn't have. Smart enough to build something real instead of chasing fantasies." They drink their coffee in comfortable silence. The house settles around them with small creaks and sighs. Maria's cat appears from nowhere and jumps onto Jack's lap. He scratches behind her ears automatically. Animals have a way of sensing character that humans lack. Maybe cats don't care about past mistakes. The phone rings, shattering their peaceful morning. Maria answers on the third ring. "Hello? Is this Maria Fletcher?" "Yes." "This is Detective Morrison with the Boston Police. We're looking for Jack Morrison." Maria's blood turns cold. She looks at Jack, who's gone pale at the sound of his last name. The coffee cup shakes in his hands. "What do you want with Jack Morrison?" Maria asks. "He's wanted for questioning in a fraud investigation. We have reason to believe he's in your area." "I haven't seen him." "Ma'am, lying to police is a crime." "So is harassment." Maria hangs up and immediately unplugs the phone. Jack stares at her with wide eyes, Princess still purring in his lap. "They found me," he whispers. "Who found you?" "The investors I couldn't pay back." "What kind of investors?" Jack's hands shake so violently he has to set down his coffee cup. The peaceful morning has shattered like glass on concrete. Outside, a car door slams.
Two men in expensive suits stand on Maria's front porch. They don't look like police. They look like the kind of men who solve problems that legal systems can't handle. Clean-shaven, cold eyes, hands that rest too casually near their jacket pockets. "Stay upstairs," Maria whispers to Jack. "Maria, you don't understand." "I understand perfectly. Go." Jack disappears up the staircase as the doorbell rings. Maria smooths her hair and walks to the front door. Through the peephole, she can see the men scanning her quiet neighborhood. "Can I help you?" she asks through the door. "We're looking for Jack Morrison. We know he's here." "I don't know anyone by that name." "Mrs. Fletcher, we're not the police. We're not here to arrest him. We just want to talk." "About what?" "About money he owes our client." Maria keeps the door locked and the chain engaged. "How much money?" $2.7 million. The number hits her like a physical blow. Jack didn't just lose his own fortune, he lost other people's money too. Maria thinks about the man upstairs, hiding in her spare room like a scared child. "That's not my problem," Maria says through the door. "It becomes your problem when you harbor a fugitive." "He's not a fugitive. He's a guest. A guest who stole nearly $3 million from our client. Then call the police." One of the men laughs. "The police move too slowly. Our client prefers faster solutions." Maria's hand finds the baseball bat she keeps by the front door. It belonged to her father, who taught her that sometimes being polite isn't enough. "Get off my property." "We're not leaving without Morrison." "Then I guess you're not leaving." Through the window, Maria can see neighbors starting to notice the commotion. Mrs. Chen from next door peeks through her curtains. The mailman has stopped his truck and pulled out his phone. "You're making this harder than it needs to be." "Good. I like things hard." "Mrs. Fletcher, you seem like a nice lady.
Don't get mixed up in Morrison's problems. His problems became my problems the day I found him sleeping on a park bench. Footsteps on the stairs behind her. Jack appears in the living room, no longer hiding. "Let me talk to them," he says. "Absolutely not. They're not going away, Maria. Then we'll call the real police." Jack walks to the front door and unlocks it. The two men step inside without invitation, filling Maria's small living room with threat and expensive cologne. "Mr. Morrison," the first man says, "you've been hard to find. Not hard enough, apparently. Our client is very disappointed in you. Tell your client I'll pay him back." "With what? You're living in a charity case's spare room." Jack's hands clench into fists. "Don't talk about her like that." "Like what? Like someone stupid enough to help a thief?" Maria steps between Jack and the men. The baseball bat feels solid in her grip. "That's enough. Get out of my house. We're not leaving without satisfaction." "What kind of satisfaction?" The first man pulls out a photograph. "This is our client's son, 16 years old. His son lost hope and passed away unexpectedly." The photograph shows a young boy with Jack's green eyes and an uncertain smile. Maria feels the strength leave her knees. Jack stares at the picture with horror spreading across his face like spilled ink. "Tommy Gardner," the man continues, "good student, star athlete, had his whole life planned out until you stole his future." "I didn't know," Jack whispers. "You didn't care to know." "I can get the money back. Give me time." "Time is what Tommy Gardner ran out of." Jack sinks into Maria's armchair, the photograph clutched in his shaking hands. Everything about him seems to collapse inward. The healing progress of the last 3 days evaporates like morning mist. "How much time do I have?" he asks. Our client is feeling generous. 72 hours. "And if I can't raise the money?" The second man adjusts his jacket, revealing the outline of a shoulder holster. Jack nods, as if he expected this outcome, as if he's been waiting for this moment since the day he lost everything. The men turn to leave, their business concluded. 72 hours, Morrison. Don't make us come looking for you again." They walk out the front door, leaving Maria and Jack alone with the photograph of a dead boy and the weight of consequences that can never be undone. "What happened to that child is on me," Jack whispers. Maria takes the photograph and sets it on the mantel, where they'll both have to look at it every day. "No, but you're going to save yourself."